Hello, everybody. Welcome to Embrace the Truth. My name is Ben, and I've got my good friend Kyle with me. We got TWTG on his way. And you were just saying, there's so much going on. It's like we have to really pick and choose what we're going to talk about because it's insane how much is being thrown at us right now, right? So what did you say about, so Biden was asked, what was he asked about?
So a reporter at one of his recent events or whatever, I don't even know where it was at, a reporter wanted to ask him a COVID question. He kept, like, during the whole event, shrugging it off, like, don't answer, don't want to answer, don't want to answer, don't want to answer. And then he was caught being like, oh, you're being obnoxious, I don't want to answer, and he never did answer a question. And this short video clip, by the way, has like 1 million views, so...
Question about COVID, Vice President, is it okay?
An obnoxious question. She wants to get
It's not obnoxious, it's about COVID, Vice President, is it okay?
An obnoxious question. She wants to get
It's not obnoxious,
So he refused to answer the question.
Oh my gosh. He's such an entitled douche.
You can hear him saying that, oh, I'm not going to answer such a big obnoxious question, but she was just asking a COVID question. So it's funny how, like, people act like Trump doesn't care or anything, and then you got something like that, and the media makes sure it doesn't see the light of day until Trump posts it to his YouTube channel and it gets 1 million views. So ha.
That's actually pretty funny. Do you know who Mark Dice is? Can you hear that? Can you hear that audio?
It's good. It's good.
Got some big news for you today. Yes, the Hollywood liberals just got blindsided. Mark Dice exposing their darkest secrets. We're going to get into that. Before I do, if you're new here, tap the red button down below to subscribe, then hit that notification bell so you are the first to know when the latest news is published. Now, when you turn on your television, you go to the movies, or you pop open your smartphone to review the news or watch something entertaining, what exactly are you seeing? Who's behind the content you consume on a daily basis? Well, today, we're going to dive deep. We're going to peel back the curtain to reveal the masters of Hollywood, Silicon Valley, and government who work overtime to program you. And I guarantee after this video, you will.
So did you hear about what's happening with Hollywood too? Just real quick, we're going to talk about Hollywood for just a brief moment. But like they're being like the entire theater industry is being shut down, like completely shut down, and they're literally out of money, and they've been focusing so much support on these crazy left-wing people in government and in California who have been doing nothing but supporting shutdowns for the entire time. And their own industry is suffering as a result. And so now they want government to bail them out. You heard about this, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what happens when you bring politics into movies and everything, and they ruined Marvel. They lost a lot of people because of that. They ruined Star Wars, and I'm just talking Disney here. We're talking about all of Hollywood. That's what happens when you bring politics into, movies that people grew up with, they love, and you get to a point where people are like, forget it. You're seeing the same thing happening in sports. NBA just had its lowest ratings ever for the NBA Finals. The NFL's opening week had the lowest ratings in like 15 years. You're seeing it in sports, and the number one cause is, people don't want to have to in between see Biden commercial. Like, they just get pounded with Biden commercials in between every commercial. Then you got the NFL announcers that won't shut up about COVID, and people are tired of it. It's like, we want to watch the game.
We want the truth, though. I think that's what the beauty about this is that Mulder and Scully got the truth in the 90s. We were being sheltered from the truth. We were being hidden from the truth for so long, and now we have a voice. Everybody has a voice. Good job, YouTube. Too bad YouTube is well on its way down that same rabbit hole. But let's just check this out for a second.
Shape our culture. Now, I want you to hit the link down in the description. You need to secure that book for yourself right now. I've known Mark for over 15 years. I'm proud to call him an ally and a friend in the fight to restore freedom in America. Mark Dice, welcome back to the Next News Network.
Great to be with you, Gary, and great to be with you along this crazy journey we've had as the YouTube ecosystem has grown and evolved and now being censored and shuttered. It's incredible to be monitoring this. We spoke previously about my other book, Liberal Media Industrial Complex, primarily about the news media, social media, the internet, big tech companies. But this is about Hollywood and how Hollywood shapes the culture. The Breitbart doctrine, Andrew Breitbart sort of coined this, is that politics is downstream from culture. And what that means is that if you can change the culture, then you can change the laws. You can get people to warm up to accepting new laws, different legislation. And that's why Hollywood was pivotal in getting same-sex marriage legalized through various television shows. And we've seen the culture shifting so far left through Hollywood driving it. And it's not a coincidence. It's not just the writers and the producers deciding to do this. There are actually numerous lobbying agencies that work to lobby writers and studio heads to insert messages and ideas and plot points and characters into movies and shows. And we all know that lobbyists work in DC to lobby our congressmen to try to get legislation passed.
Anyway.
And behind the scenes in Hollywood, there are numerous.
So anyway, this. I don't want to just watch the entire thing, but Mark Dice is brilliant. In case anybody doesn't know, but he's brilliant. I need to read his books. Apparently, this book looks amazing. So, good stuff. He's a truther. He's a real truther.
It's subliminal messaging. They also all these commercials on TV. It's subliminal messaging. You know, you get these elite people that have, you know, so much money they don't know what to do with it, so they waste it on their own vendettas. And there's so much subliminal messaging even in commercials nowadays. That's because if you go deep down and you look into, you know, who created that commercial, who's funding it, or whatever, it doesn't even matter who created it. You know, whoever's funding it gets to say, you know, what's going to be in it or whatever, and they just constantly shove it down your throats. And there's always something behind it.
Welcome, Krish. Welcome. How's it going?
Hey man, sorry I was a bit late coming in.
It's totally fine.
No problem.
We welcome you with open arms here, sir. So my biggest thing about this, and I have been saying this for a long time, how stupid they are because they're in support of all the shutdowns when it actually sabotages their own theater. Their own, and that's like an entire market that they're allowing to be sabotaged, and now they want the government to bail out theaters. I mean, this is
there's a reason why a lot of these Hollywood professionals and stuff like that don't manage their own money. They pay someone else to manage the business side of everything they do, because they've got no concept of how it all works. And now they've realized that, like, oh, we screwed up and we've promoted something that destroyed our own business. Now we want the government to fix it for us.
No one ever explained them how a business works at all. They just have no idea how any of this crap works.
It's like Disney. It's like, oh crap, we can run out of money.
Yeah, they can run out of money. The bottomless pit isn't bottomless.
We thought if we stayed closed forever, we would somehow keep making money.
Well, they've got their streaming service, and I bet they thought their streaming service was going to take off.
Yeah,
you know what?
Be able to do whatever they want.
I've heard from so many people, and I've ran into this problem before as well, a good bit actually. It buffers like crazy. Sometimes it won't even open, and the quality is just.
It's a crappy site. You're talking about the Disney Plus?
Yeah, it buffers like crazy. When you have plenty of bandwidth, it shouldn't be buffering, and some days it won't even open. Yeah. It's very, very glitchy.
I think they probably put it together, and they had like probably a budget person put it together, and they just like had a template. They were like, okay, that's fine, let's just do the cheapest version of whatever you got, let's do it, let's put it together. And it's very cheap. There's you can't, like with Hulu, even at least with Hulu, you can mark something and it disappears, so you don't never see it again, right? So you can actually kind of customize and I got rid of Hulu anyway because they just turn into a crap show anyway. That's a long story. The point is that Disney Plus has always been crappy.
They screw themselves on it. Most of the time, they screw themselves on an international market because they go with geo-blocking. And geo-blocking means that, like, because I'm in a different part of the country, different part of the world to you, I'm not allowed to see things at the same time. So, like, a movie gets released in America on a certain date, but it's a month later that it gets released in Australia, so I don't get to see it for a month. And if it's on a service, I'm not allowed to watch it for a month until it's released on my services.
Did you know that Disney on Disney Plus is now apparently, like, movies that were going to be in theaters that now aren't going to be in theaters, they're putting on their Disney Plus service, but it's like a pay-per-view. So not only are you paying for the subscription, but if you want to watch that premiere movie, you got to pay even more money to, like, watch it once or something like that. Did you know they were doing that? They just did that with the
I had
Milan
no
movie
idea.
or whatever, I think. Well, someone told me that apparently it's like if the movie was going to release in theaters and they put it on Disney Plus instead, just having the subscription isn't enough. It's like a pay-per-view and you got to pay like $10 to watch it once. It's like it would have been cheaper. I could have watched it in the theaters for $6.99. What do you mean $10 on top of what I'm already paying for the subscription?
Yeah.
It tells people. It just tells me that okay, well, you obviously don't see me as like a value. You don't see. I mean, I get it. They want. It's like they want to maximize their profit from the film, and I get that. But and I think Nerdrotic had an amazing video just recently about this, talking about all this stuff. And I mean, but the point is that the actual industry is not tanking. It's completely. I mean, like it's just that they're not making as much as they could be with the theaters, and so as a result, they're trying to get Congress to bail out. The point is, apparently, James Cameron just barely finished his 2 sequels of the 5 sequels that he's going to make for Avatar.
I was wondering when they were going to happen. He's been talking about it for 20 years.
Well, he had talked specifically about wanting to do. I mean, the reason why, and I think this is one of the reasons why, is because he wanted to change technology. He wanted to bring 3D into the theater without glasses, and so he was like all about like that's a whole other thing. But anyway, I think it's just funny how people like him are just so in the dark, and they're just like, yeah, bail us out, because we want to make them. It's like you just effed over all the people who watch you screwed over all the people. So many people with their own businesses that needed to stay open are screwed now because of the ridiculously blindsiding laws that are instigated by these ridiculous people in government wanting to shut everything down and not giving a shit about their average person.
Here's what's going to happen. Hollywood's did nothing but hate Trump during this entire presidency. Now they're running out of money. They're all going bankrupt and everything. They're probably praying, and they're not going to pray. None of them probably are religious. But anyways, they're probably hoping that Trump doesn't win, because if Trump goes and wins, they're going to be like, oh, shit. We can't survive 4 years without government help. We're done. Because Trump's not going to help him. I wouldn't, as much shit they've given him over the past 4 years.
I really hope they don't get the bailout, because even before the Corona lockdown and all that sort of stuff, they hadn't been like caring at all about the fan base. They're like, I was going to do a thing that if you're in entertainment news, you can have the one headline and be recycling it for the last 20 years. Disney makes movie, fans of original book are angry. That's pretty much the standard thing that they've like. Whoever it is like, they make movie of X book. Fans of original X book are angry because it's a terrible fucking movie. It's been all they've done is just screw over the people who would have come in and given them huge amounts of money, so this wouldn't be a problem.
And Hollywood's behind a lot of those commercials. Wear a mask, wear a mask, wear a mask. How do you look when you wear a mask? Well, how do you look when you don't wear a mask? And all that, like shoving it down their throats kind of crap. And, speaking of that, like we said before, Trump was discharged from the hospital on Monday. So he was in there for 3 days, 3-4 days, whatever. And it was just for precautionary reasons. He was barely even sick. He didn't even know. I think I told you about this. He didn't even know he was sick that day when we're doing the test. He just had fatigue, sore throat. And as soon as he got out, he ripped his mask off and he did a speech on the White House. And he pretty much said, don't let COVID control your life. Don't let this virus control your life. It's not as scary as everybody's making it out to be. He said, I'm in my 70s. I got through this. As a leader, I had to be out. I had to be out doing these things. I had to be out helping people and being among the people and being a leader. He said, I knew I was at risk. He said, they wanted to lock me in the White House. He said, as a leader can't do that. He said, I was out and it took this long for me to get this virus. And he said, I got through it in a couple of days. I just had fatigue and it's not this scary. And he said, we'll get through this as Americans, And
the media takeaway from that is that there is a secret conspiracy that Trump is actually far sicker than he is letting on, and that you can tell that when he took off his mask, he was gasping for air, because you could see him standing there and he went,
That's because he can't breathe in the mask.
Because he's holding, because he's got the mask on. That's pretty funny.
He took the mask off and he took a deep breath once. Therefore, he's obviously gasping for air. And there's a secret conspiracy that Trump is dying.
Here's what it is. There's a difference between a virus and a plague. Okay? This is a virus.
Which is not alive, by the way.
Ebola is a plague. Okay? Virus, plague. The flu you can put in the virus category. It's something that 99% of the population, if they get, is 99% of them is going to get through it with hardly any hassle. You know, they kept saying it's dangerous among the elderly. Well, Trump's in his 70s and it seemed to not affect him, you know? And as cocky and strong as Trump is, he can't fake not being sick. You know, if he's actually like, you know, he's not faking that. He can't fake it's ridiculous. I've heard of people faking being sick. I've never heard of people faking being healthy. You get what I'm saying? It just doesn't make any sense.
I mean, there's always the possibility there, and fine. I'm okay with that possibility, because if people want to say it, fine. I actually personally, once again, all we can do is speculate. That's all we can do as regular people. We can just speculate as to what I personally think it's a false positive. A lot of people think it's a false positive. Once again, it's just to people to reiterate the narrative that there's actually that this virus that is supposedly, you know, transmittable through plastic and all these other lies and all this other bullshit, that somehow that it can just kill you when you come in close contact, which is why we need to be social distancing. All this lying. I think personally that it's a false positive. I don't think he even has it. That's my opinion.
Think how he's been out on the campaign trail and among people more than anybody, and for it to take this long for him to even have a test come back like that, and he gets tested like every day or every week or whatever. I mean, here's another good example. Cam Newton on the Patriots was supposed to play Kansas City Chiefs, and the game got postponed until yesterday because Cam Newton tested positive for the virus, so he couldn't play in that game. Well, then the NFL announced after that game that Cam Newton's test was asymptomatic, which means, now correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure that means that he has the virus, but he's not sick because of it. He's just a carrier. And it's like, give me a break. How can you be sick without knowing you're sick? We live in a world where someone tells us when we're sick. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense to me. How can you be...
The test doesn't necessarily show that you are sick and dying. It shows that the virus is the antibodies to the virus are present in your system. So it could be that you had it and you're well from it, or you
Thing is, though,
if it was as bad as they're saying, then why aren't we seeing the people dropping dead in the streets like we saw on the video?
So
in China?
Here's how I would look at it.
Where are they?
They don't let him play because he's not sick, but he's a carrier, so they're afraid of him spreading it. But if he's a carrier, that tells me he's been carrying it for longer than that day. So why isn't the entire team coming down with it then? You know what I mean? If it's so easy to give it to somebody and everybody else tested, you know, okay, they don't have it. So maybe he could have been played. You know, it's ridiculous.
Tell us what the world is like where you are, Chris, because I want to know. Since we're talking about tyranny and the COVID, the tyranny of COVID 1984. Are you able to actually leave your house without a mask? Sorry, forgive me for playing light of it. I'm sorry. I know
that it's really weird. I mean, we're having situations where anyone who speaks out against the government gets arrested. But then that sort of blew up in the media, and then you never heard of it, no one's speaking about it anymore. It's just it's like a goldfish. It's like whatever is going on, and then people just forget straight away. And but then you go outside and go to the shop. I noticed that almost nobody is wearing any masks, and it's starting to get warmer where we are. So everyone is and the school holidays are starting. So I go down to go get my groceries the other day, and you've got the place is nobody's social distancing. There's signs everywhere saying it's like living in a world where you have like propaganda posters hanging from the ceiling of every shop and posted on every window. But then everyone's just walking around as if they don't exist, as if everything just is as it is, and nobody notices that there's a guy standing at the doorway of Kmart who is an employee who has like the roped off section he's standing in, and he's like taking pictures of the people as they come in and out of the shop.
Wow.
But nobody seems to like notice it. Or that when you go to the cash register to pay for your food, that there's a little camera in the top of it, and you can see like the live recording of yourself as you do the transaction.
See, that's what
just seems to forget about it and move on as if nothing's happening.
See, that's what scares me the most about post-COVID, because they've talked about. Well, they have DARPA here talking about biochips and being able to automatically find out if you have COVID or not. Like, I guess for eternity, if people have this, they'll just automatically alert you to kind of like your app on your Apple Watch or whatever. It'll let you know if you're about to, having heart problems or something like that. So they want to do something like that, which is terrifying. And they're also talking about, this is Bill Gates' idea, they're also talking about putting infrared things on every door, so when you walk in, it automatically scans you, and if you have a fever, they don't allow you to shop or whatever. It's very, very scary stuff.
They say they kind of already have that, because the automatic doors, they most of them run on infrared, and the number of times I walk up to those doors to go in, and they just don't activate. Like they're just like, yeah, come on, hello, open up.
You don't have any body heat. you're cold.
Body heat. But I have to walk back and jump around and move around, and then someone walks past and the doors open up, and you're like, God damn it.
Do you guys realize how bad financially, economic-wise, 2021 is going to be, just the recovery for all these countries post-COVID? Now, answer this question. Wow. Do you want Biden having to take care of that economy, or do you want Trump having to take care of that economy? I mean, think about that.
We don't have either, and we're having that. We're going to have that economy. I say that again. We're going to have that economy going here, and we don't have a Trump to run things as a business to get things back on track. We have Democrats and Democrats light.
I thought about this today, or it was actually a few hours ago. So Trump's YouTube channel just reached 1.5 million subscribers. Okay, what if when he's done being president? Is he going to get rid of his YouTube channel? Or he could become a YouTube star. He could become a YouTube star and political activist and just give Biden hell like all of us.
Let's bring that up. I did want to talk about that. There was a great video that was made by Vincent James. Vincent James of the Red Elephants. He's all up in the grill of Twitter and YouTube and all these people. So because Trump has been suppressed by Twitter, and it's funny how he doesn't. I mean, I realize that it's so funny how he's like, I can still beat him. He's very like combative in that. Like, he's just like, you want to shut me down? I can still beat you. I got, he's all about fighting it. But when he could actually instigate and call them to action, and there has been a call to action. They actually have been called to meeting. But the point is that, so here's the thing. Vincent James talked about this. It's an exciting thing for you. I know that you're going to appreciate this, Kyle, because he says Trump has been vocal about Parler before, and so this is Vincent James's prediction. He says that if Twitter shuts down Trump on election day, because that's what they're kind of letting on to that, like, because he's going to try to claim victory. And then they're going to try to shut him down because there's all these votes coming in and all this other crap, right? There's all this business going on with election. Election day is going to be the most confusing shit show of a day, like, period. It's going to be crazy. And so the point is that he said specifically that he might, Vincent James says that Trump might say, screw this, I'm going over to Parler now. And so there's going to be this huge influx of people moving from Twitter, because he said specifically that Twitter cannot financially survive without Trump. I don't know if you guys know this, but apparently their stock will tank hard if Trump leaves. And that's the irony of it. That's the beautiful irony that we are now basking in right now. We're seeing this happen. Like Trump is there. They literally can't stand him, but he is a moral imperative. He is imperative for their success. And that's beautiful. And if this happens, if they shut him down, he's going to, I mean, this is his prediction that if he needs to do that though, if he says, screw you guys, I'm going over to Parler, and then just like nukes his Twitter account and goes to Parler, Twitter will just, because everybody's going to follow him. Everybody, left wing, right wing journalists, doesn't matter who it is. They're all going to follow Trump because that's where all the information is coming from. They're going to follow him right over to Parler.
You guys might have seen this, but Twitter, a lot of conservatives have already moved over the Parler and said F Twitter. Okay, like you said, Donald Trump moves over there. They're all coming. It's literally becoming a divide between Twitter and Parler. You got all the conservatives in Parler, where they're allowed to speak their own minds and have free speech. And you got all the radical, crazy nut jobs on Twitter that just post hate after hate after hate after hate. And for some reason to Twitter, that's okay. And they never get censored. You're literally seeing social media wars here. Conservatives, Parler, Twitter, and the people on the left. And imagine what would the media have done over the past 4 years if they couldn't talk about Trump? That's why it's such an influence on the stocks, bad or good.
Go ahead.
How would comedy survive? Without Trump? How is Saturday Night Live going to survive without Trump? How's any of the comedians who have got the Netflix comedy specials? How are they going to survive without Trump? Better yet, how are they going to survive when Netflix gets sued because of cuties? Because they are being taken to court. They are basically.
Is that still going on? That's I didn't see. I
was listening to a podcast this morning from Tim Pool, and he was saying that they're taking them to court. They're saying that it is that in one of the states it is against the law to show children engaging in anything in a sexual manner, whether it be clothed or unclothed. It is all falls under child pornography stuff. So they're saying, right, that's child pornography. You're done.
It's illegal in a lot of states. Where is it not illegal? I mean, I guess California it's not illegal.
But California, how many is probably it's a democratically run by Democrats, isn't it? So they're like, well, no, we don't see anything wrong with it. It's like, that's what they watch before bed.
Yeah,
and the person putting it, let's see, the person doing the indicting is what is her name? Hannah. Excuse me. I get anyway. No, Deanna Lorraine breaks down the indictment against Netflix by a Texas grand jury for promoting the lewd exhibition of them in their new film Cuties special guest. It's interesting to see this craziness because Netflix owned the entire market, and it's crazy that they're just allowing like they could literally just like, okay, fine, you know what, everybody's really pissed, let's make this.
But that's it. They were warned. They were said that you've broken the law and we can indict you. We're not going, like most people, if you put something like that on the internet, most people, they just come and arrest you and take you away. But with Netflix, they said, oh no, sorry, Mr. Netflix, but that's actually breaking the law. Can you please take it down? And Netflix turned around and said, no, it's a beautiful piece of art.
They should be in jail. Like you said, the person that created it should be in jail.
I mean, you know what? It's just insane. I think that what the misconception here is this. This is simple misconception. All these companies, Netflix, Twitter, Facebook, all these people, they reside in the U.S., right? But they think that they're above the law because they're international, right? That's essentially what they've wanted to reach out internationally and be a because they're globalists, right? They're globalists. They love the idea of having a utopia. They love that idea, and they want to have a globe. They want to influence the globe. They want to be an international voice. That's what they want. All of them want that. All of them want that. They think the U.S. sucks because the U.S. is so closed-minded and all these things, right? That's what they think, and so as a result, they're trying. They think they're above the law, and this is a classic case of it. They literally think they're above the law. But sorry, dude, you're in the U.S. You're in a country where you were able to create something so amazing as this amazing stuff that we have now, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, these things that anybody can communicate from all over the world. I mean, here we are podcasting with a guy in Australia. It's amazing. And for you to just piss that all away because it's like, yeah, it's so funny.
There are very few places in the world where you can be so free that you are free to attack your own freedom.
Well said.
Dude. And with that, we're gonna go. No, we're gonna get out of here. No, I'm kidding. So this is. That's just interesting stuff. There's so much craziness. It's hard to focus. It's like, what do we talk about? So this just is from the Epic Times here. Now is a time for the U.S. to take a stronger position against the CCP, Chinese Communist Party. Let's just see what this says. May President Donald Trump and the First Lady Melania. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Melania, thank you. Speedily recover from the fake virus. They're contracting. It is a reminder to us all. They're falling ill from this disease, and the Chinese Communist Party, allowed to spread around the world, underscores how close the CCP's threat has come to cutting out the heart of our nation. And every nation. Australia. How is that fear in Australia? Does anybody care there, or?
That's it. Like I'm saying, we live in a world where you've got the COVID propaganda banners hanging from every ceiling, and news broadcasts about how we've got to worry about it, and the radio my mum listens to, literally, they had maybe Jonathan Smith, Andrea James, Elena Thomas, and there's these are the names of all the people who have just died from COVID, and they just sit there and list the names. So it's but then people are walking around and don't seem to care. I was standing in line in the shops the other day, and nobody was like, "Oh no, back up so many meters." I mean, occasionally you'll see somebody who's maybe there's somebody who, if you see them in a shopping center, there'll be one person you'll see that is very socially awkward and maybe not 100% there, and that'll be the person who is making sure they are doing the social distancing and wearing gloves and a mask, and that's it. Like the one person. Old people, young people, everybody doesn't seem to care. People are walking around in tight clothes and short shorts and all that sort of business because it's getting warmer. Nobody seems to give a damn. They just want to go about their lives.
There's people you just mentioned. We have a name for them, a category in the United States. We call them people that voted for Hillary in 2016. They all fit into that same category. They look exactly how you described it.
and it's like they've completely executed the entire quote unquote American dream. The American dream is what? It's being able to start your own business. So many people who have their own business have lost their business due to this shutdown. I mean, you got everybody scrambling to just try to figure out what the hell to do in these shutdowns. For anyone to think that we're just gonna shut down. Like, and I'm sorry, but feminism is to blame for this bullshit, man. I'm sorry, but it is. These crazy feminists think that they just want to control speech.
It's like it's every sort of aspect that was at some stage counterculture has been sort of taken over or had roots in some sort of social Marxist concept of nothing is sacred. There is no thing higher than the physical wealth, whatever you can grab with your hands right now. There's no moral imperative beyond getting what you want, and that just seems to be incredibly destructive. There was there's a similar to the American dream and the American the colonial spirit of people who left their homes to go to America to build something that they couldn't back home, that they were restricted from, instead of let's bring that restriction with us.
Let's listen to this real quick.
With help from the U.S. The Philippines withdrew its ships, but China maintained a presence there. Since Beijing refused to leave the area, then President of the Philippines, Benigno Aquino III,
Sorry, this is
filed an arbitration
this is just
against
talking
China
about
with the
specifics
permanent
about
closure.
people kind of uniting against China. So that's good to see. Sorry, go ahead. Anyway,
So no, I was pretty much finished with what I was saying.
Yeah, I've always said
I worry about you, Chris, and I just want to let you know that my heart goes out to you, man. And I'm sorry that you're living in what you are, man. I'm so sorry, man. It's so awful.
Hey, it's not too bad. At least we're not living in somewhere like China, where if I was doing this, there would be literally people at my door tomorrow,
right,
tracking down my IP address and dragging me out, and you'd never hear from me again.
Yeah, and that's the scary part. That's the world these people want. They want that one world where everybody is under that type of control, where you're not safe anywhere on the planet. You know,
it's those same people. It's like you think you're going to be exempt. It's like these people are going to vote it all in and then be like, oh shit, what have I done? Because they're going to be under scrutiny too. Everybody is. Like, you think they're going to be exempt? Like, all the members of Antifa are going to be like, I just can't wait till I see. Forgive me, I can wait for this, but it's like I can't wait to see the UN troops just totally beat the living shit out of Antifa. Like they're like Antifa are just like yeah, fuck the power, and then they're just like just mowed over by UN troops as we enter a totalitarian regime of the entire world, and they go, oh fuck, what have I done? I'm a fucking idiot.
Let's get into the Trump YouTube thing, okay? I could see if Trump chooses to be a total YouTube star after he's not president anymore, I could see him reaching the most subscribers in the history of YouTube if he goes at it long enough. I could see it. Okay.
Beat out PewDiePie.
he has such an influence, well, not just the United States, but the world. I could literally see him moving to at least 7 or 8 other countries and running for president there and having a very good chance to win. That's how much of an influence he has across the world. They love him in Israel. They said Israel is keeping a close eye on this election because they know they're not going to get any support if Biden wins. And they know they're going to get a ton of support if Trump keeps going, and they keeping a close eye on it because there's been a lot of anti-Semitism spreading across the world, and they're rooting for Trump to win because he's helped them more than anybody. But he has such an influence on the world. I could literally see him in about 7 or 8 other countries running and having a chance to win. That's how big of an influence he has. Well, the 3 Nobel Peace Prize is a good example of that. People in other countries respect him more than excuse my language, but like the spoiled brats here in this country. People in this country have no respect anymore for their elders or anybody.
They have no respect at all for him. It's ridiculous.
Could you imagine the upset if Trump's YouTube channel here got so big and he was able to generate so much income off it that he eventually was to buy out YouTube itself?
I wish.
You could imagine all the lefties on YouTube who have had free reign are just flipping out, and then you got Crowder who's like, oh, so we can just do whatever we want now. Excellent. Let's just wrap it up to 11.
I would absolutely love that. Everybody floods back to YouTube. That's the same thing that they were talking about the Fandom Menace geeks, and because everybody was following Jeremy Geeks and Gamers, and they were just like, can't wait, you should buy a portion of Lucasfilm, for buy the stock of Lucasfilm. It was just funny, but that just would be amazing if he did. But I don't think I think a lot of people understand the fact that Trump and all these people, a lot of people in Congress and in government don't understand the weight of what maybe Trump is gearing. Maybe he is finally realizing the importance of YouTube and how YouTube is literally that's where everything is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could also go this way too. He's getting huge popularity, and every one of his videos is just hating Biden, which would be funny. And YouTube one day just decides to be like, nope, delete channel, and then they don't even say why. They just because it was irritating us, we can't stand him succeeding.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So that happens a lot today. Apparently, they don't have to have a reason. It happens on all platforms. Mark Levine, he's a huge conservative supporter. He's like now 100% on Parler because he was actually censored on Facebook. So that was in the news yesterday. He was completely like censored on Facebook. So
it's like, I mean, I want them to do something. I want them to actually take action because this is where internationally we're talking about international suppression of media, and it's been said so many times. It's because of all these big time of CNN and all the big news organizations have a threat. Their threat is us, right? We're a threat to them because we're your average person. We don't have any incentive to lie, but they do. And so that they want to protect that, and they're showing their cards all the time, constantly, and it's just funny to see. I am just, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I just want to say that these independent journalists that you get on YouTube and the commentators like ourselves that we get on YouTube, if we come out and promote something that is a lie, we knowingly back a lie, then that hurts our bottom dollar. That then you immediately get people going, well, I'm watching you because I can trust you over the mainstream media. Now I can't trust you over the mainstream media. I'm going to go and find someone else who I can. So their truth is the currency of the YouTube commentator and I can't think of the word. What's it? The YouTube personality. Truth is their their bread and butter.
Don't you love this guy's shirt? Patriots versus everybody.
Did I send you the one meme I found? Well, it wasn't even a meme. He interviewed, I think Tucker Carlson interviewed him, but huge bodybuilder, and he was wearing a "Make America Great Again" hat and T-shirt. His muscles were like popping out of his "Make America." He literally, I made a meme of it. I don't know if I shared it with you, but I put, vote Trump. I use Democrats to unclog my toilet. This guy is huge. I'll send it to you.
That's like the Arnold Schwarzenegger saying I eat Green Berets for breakfast, right? In Commando, if you remember that movie, Commando.
This guy was the type of guy where you would not want to walk up to him face to face and be like, "I'm voting for Biden." He could use you as a toothpick.
What were you going to say, Chris? You were going to say something.
So no, I wasn't. I was just agreeing and laughing.
See, here's Trump's plan. Through all this craziness, all these tech giants are going down the crapper. Okay, when he gets out of presidency, he's gonna buy up all of it, and he'll be like, "Yeah, I know, I'm in the world. Yeah, you see that face? That's his game. That's his game face. That's his Super Bowl, game face. He's gonna buy up everything, and then it's gonna be like the Dark Knight movie when Batman or Bruce Wayne wanted to hire the guy for the one position because the other guy that was in charge of Wayne Enterprises wanted to fire him, and he's like, "Well, I now own Wayne Enterprises." "What do you mean?" "Yeah, I bought all the stocks." "Yeah, I now own this place." "You're fired." He's hired. So it's gonna be like that. Trump's gonna be like, "Yeah, I now own the world. It's not a conservative world." So yeah, everybody was there. Bye bye.
I just hope so. I mean, this is just once again just bouncing back to what Alex Jones was saying and what you guys. I mean, I don't know if you heard what was kind of going over the weekend when it was first announced that he had the thing. I was actually really concerned for his health and safety because, I'm not going to spew stuff, but Alex Jones was pointing out how he was being fed a cocktail of some weird stuff that you wouldn't normally give people. Apparently, So
Yeah.
a lot of people thought they were trying to assassinate him. So we're not going to talk much about that again. But a lot of people thought that there was a point there, and anyway, I was really concerned. I was worried that they were going to try to kill him. So for whatever that's worth.
Well, did you see that on Twitter? One of the feminists that was on Obama's administration for 8 years got caught on Twitter posting, "I hope he dies." Did you see that?
I heard about it. I didn't see that, but I heard about it. What a stupid!
I heard about it.
Oh, these people.
I bet
What
her
the hell?
account's not taken down since she's on Twitter. I bet it's not. They said it's hidden from the public, but that could mean she just did that herself.
Yeah, just hide your own account.
It's like these people. Oh my gosh! It's like you're allowed to say anything you want on Twitter if you're a left wing.
If you're hating the right person, yeah.
Yeah. If you're just a left wing propagandist like some of these people. Did you guys see this yet? This is actually kind of funny. Have you seen this yet, you guys? The Cuomo. This is actually we're gonna
Trump broke Frodo. Oh.
This is actually really funny. Can you hear the audio on this?
A little bit.
For his own ad, I hold rallies.
Can you hear that?
Majestically reshooting the scene for his own ad. I hold rallies, and I tell you to ignore masks, and I rip mine off as I vanquish the virus because I am a leader. Fear not, COVID. What a bunch of bullshit.
Hey, Cuomo.
Yes, it's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of Como bullshit. That's it. Like, that's all we were listening to was a bunch of Como bullshit. He was 100% right.
Trump broke Fredo Cuomo. They call him Fredo because he's Italian, so they call him that.
And he hates it. Apparently, he I think I saw the footage of where he turned around and tried to beat the shit out of some guy for calling him Fredo.
And I called him a kumquat, but I spelled it funny. So, okay.
Did you guys see the parade that just happened in New York City? It was a huge Trump parade. It was where they rallied together on Facebook, and they all got together in front of Trump Tower and everything. It was actually while he was at the hospital over the weekend, and they were all wearing Patriot type colonial hats, or a lot of them were. Yeah. They said they wanted to show that he has support in an area where the media will make you think he doesn't.
Yeah, it's so funny how they try to hide it. They literally try to hide everything that he does, everything that's going on. They try to hide it. It's like the polls are like, it's like we can't trust the polls. We can't trust any
the polls.
I posted this.
They did these guys, PhD type people, who they did this a study that showed that between 9 to 10% of the people who were saying that they would vote for Biden are saying it because they're out of fear, they're worried about reparations for. Someone calls them up on the phone and asks them if they believe who they're going to vote for. They're like, "Oh, please don't burn down my house. I'm voting for Biden."
So a lot of these polls are inflated because people are actually afraid.
They're at least 10% in favor of Biden because people are afraid to admit that they're in favor of Trump, and they're saying if you then take they're at 50-50. The polls say 50-50, or with Biden at 1% higher. So then if you take that 10% off, that makes it 60-40 or 60-40, yeah. And then the polls are then starting to sway towards Trump's favor. So it would the polls with that 10% difference are quite heavily in Trump's favor.
I just posted this on Facebook talking about it. You want to talk fake political news and people getting censored because of what they claim fake political news. These polls are fake news. They weren't accurate in 2016. They're not going to be accurate again. For example, in Pennsylvania, I'm reading a poll and it says Biden's winning by 8%. And you scroll down and it says conducted out of 800 likely voters. 800 out of the entire population of Pennsylvania. And a lot of these surveys are only conducted in Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, or Philadelphia, where they know they're going to get the results they want because everybody else around the state doesn't want to bother. They're like, yeah, we made up our minds. We don't bother us, And we don't need to know ahead of time who is winning. And by knowing ahead of time, based off of polls that are inaccurate information, you could typically or basically say that it's influencing people's votes and it's based off inaccurate information. So basically, it's fake political news. It shouldn't be allowed. And none of them are accurate. We don't need to know ahead of time.
Well,
It's ridiculous.
Especially since what happened with, especially with what happened in 2016, right? I mean, if they were like, "Oh, Hillary's totally going to win," and it's like,
the most accurate poll of 2016, out of all the polls, this was the most accurate poll, and I don't remember the exact name, has Trump beating Biden slightly in this year's. It had the most accurate poll of 2016. Now has Trump beating Biden slightly in this election, but it's like a poll that no one really talks about, and everybody shrugs it off like it's nothing. Point that out.
Like, I mean, we all know that Biden's a joke. He's a joke candidate. Like, he literally is a fucking joke. Look at this, 57%. You've got to be joking.
There's no way.
He is a joke candidate. He is not he is literally a comedy show. He is a comedy sideshow that doesn't even deserve to go up against President Trump at all.
That same poll had them pretty much tied like a month ago. What's changed in a month other than someone being like, "Oh, we can't have this." Nope. It's like hitting a counter. Trump down, Biden up. There we go.
Well, they're saying because of contracting the virus. Because he got the virus. That's why.
Why would that change anything?
That's what they said. In the last one I looked at, they were saying that. I don't know. Maybe
him recovering fast would only help his case, because here's what he's never said it doesn't exist.
Right. He never did. Well, I think
him recovering fast only proves that it's not as dangerous, just like he's been trying to tell people.
Or possibly that maybe the hydro stuff that he was talking about that he's been taking might actually help lessen the symptoms so that you kind of get over it quicker. Like, not a cure in the sense that, oh, I've got it, I take it, boom, I'm better again. In the sense that of like a treatment, like he's been saying from the beginning.
A lot of that experimental stuff they gave him and he got out so quickly, he's been called an idiot for requesting and bringing up, and he just goes in there, he's like, yeah, everything I've been like talking about and called an idiot for, give it all to me. Out on Monday.
Yeah. They're saying it makes him look weak and all this sort of stuff. So no, this has made him look stronger. This has made him basically like the big virus that has destroyed the world, and Trump took it on personally.
Yep. And the only thing that scares me is 3.8 million people have voted ahead of time through mail-in ballots, and that sounds like a scary number. But they only know if you're registered Democrat or Republican. We don't know how many Democrats voted for Trump, which we know a lot of that happened in 2016. So they don't know that. And there's over 300 million people in the United States. So 3.8 isn't even 5% of the 300 million. And they said 60% of the mail-in ballots that's already been entered were registered Democrats. But the Democrats have always had a history of being lazy and not showing up if they have to actually go there physically. But whatever, that's a different subject. What I'm saying is the Republicans need to come out, and I know they're going to come out. They're going to come out in full force and vote in person, and you're going to immediately see Trump go, straight up. But what I'm getting to is Biden didn't have a chance in hell of winning without these mail-in ballots, and because of this, it scares me.
Do you still think that it's like inevitable that Trump will just still lose because of the mail-in? I know that you were saying that the last time we talked. You were saying that.
I think
it's in the back of my head.
It's the only thing that makes it a challenge. The only thing that makes the outcome. The only thing that makes the outcome uncertain.
Right.
Trump was running a campaign before all this happened that George Washington would have had trouble beating. He said that, and it's hard to deny that. Then this comes out, and we'll see. Like I said, a lot of the Republicans that know there's voter fraud and there's been voter fraud are going to waiting, to show up on the days where the polls open up. But here's what's going to happen. Here's what I'm afraid of. All the Democrats voted by mail, so you're going to have more Republicans showing up in person. So the Democrats know that mostly Republicans are going to be showing up in person. So here comes Antifa that starts causing riots and everything on election day, causing people not to vote. Then you're going to have Trump being like, well, with all the riots and everything and this, I'm not stepping down. This wasn't a fair election. It's just going to be total hell.
It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be a weird time to see. I'm just so anticipating. What I wanted to ask you. So you sent me. So hail to you, Kyle. You sent me the article about what's happening in Texas about all the non citizens registering without it's like they even said I'm not a citizen and they still were able to register, right? So obviously we got corrupt people in the voting places, the places where people are voting. I know I just today I heard a thing where they were talking about Pennsylvania. You're in Pennsylvania. They were talking about how there's something. Do you know what's going on locally there? Do you know what I heard that there was some issues with the voting there. No,
it was in one county. It's where there was people that are overseas are allowed to fill in a mail-in ballot, obviously because they're American and they're not going to vote in person. And there was 9 ballots from military overseas that were found. Now I better say dumpster. If I say in a ditch, they're going to censor me. In a dumpster, they were torn open, and 7 out of the 9 had Trump checkmarked, and they were found in the dumpster. Well, one, you're not allowed to tamper with those. You're not allowed to open them or anything, which was against the rules. And obviously they all said Trump, except for 2. The only reason they don't know about the other 2 is because they were tampered with so much they weren't even legible. They couldn't read them. So it's a good chance that they were all for Trump and they were found open in a dumpster. Well, as they started investigating and everything, they found out that this also happened in the primaries. The recent primaries with certain officials and everything, where a good bit of votes and ballots went missing, and that's now under investigation and everything. But that was with one county. But it's just a good example. I know a lot of this happens around the country. A lot of it doesn't get caught, and when it does get caught, they shrug it off like, "Oh, they're just making excuses, and nothing's ever done about it."
I just found this is just I found this weird article on this is on New York Times, or the Upshot. Poll finds voters in 2 crucial states repelled by Trump's debate behavior. Biden is ahead by 7 points in Pennsylvania, the 5 points in Florida. I'm sorry to keep even talking about polls. This is stupid, but by overwhelming margins, voters in Pennsylvania and Florida were repelled by President Trump's conduct in the first. He was being double teamed by those motherfuckers, and they're sitting here saying that they were upset with his. Gotta be so many people. If that is true, so many people are so stupid.
Did you know during the debate you could see Biden tucking the wire back in underneath his coat?
Yeah.
He wasn't even giving his own thoughts. He wasn't even giving his own thoughts. He was being told what to say.
He's a puppet. He's a shell. He's nothing. There's nobody home. He's an automaton that's being used by somebody who speaks into, like, I assume he has 2 earpieces. But yeah, the people who are like on the other side of this, they sit there and wait to be told what to think. And when these people come out and say that all these people don't like what Trump said, they go, "I don't like what Trump said," because now they've been told what to think. And it's just, there's nobody home. They're just waiting for someone to tell them what to think.
Here's their mentality, and I'm going to use an example. Okay, for one, it's funny how all these polls show him losing battleground states, but yet he'll go to Florida and have a rally, and there's like 60,000 people there. And same with Pennsylvania, and I see nothing but Trump signs everywhere. And even in places that's normally been all Democrat. But here's a good example. So my dad was in a grocery store, and someone behind him said, "Nice mask." He was wearing a Trump mask. And the guy behind the counter at the grocery store was like, "Oh, that doesn't mean he's going to win." Well, my dad got into an argument with him and everything. He's like, "Why do you want to vote for a communist pedophile?" He's talking about Biden. And immediately... You would expect the guy to give his reasoning why he's voting for Biden based off of what my dad said. The only thing the guy said was, "Well, he wouldn't let Biden speak at the debate." So you're going to vote for a communist pedophile, and your answer is he wouldn't let Biden speak at the debate.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb.
That's the mentality of them. They don't. It's just like anytime they know you're right. And they can't say anything about that, so they just go right to, "You misspelled a word. That means all."
Yeah.
It's bullshit. You like your spelling.
They check your spelling and your grammar over the content of what you're saying. It's absolutely madness. And
They have no reason why they're voting for Biden. They just are. It's like I don't get it. They're told to vote for Biden, so they got to vote for Biden. They're told to jump off a cliff, so dang it, they're lining up at the Grand Canyon.
I mean, I can see people not being like they can misconstrue what people are saying and say that people thought that they didn't like Trump's behavior in the debate. It's like they thought he should have been harsher. They think he should have been harder on Biden. That he rolled back a few of the things he was saying, was a bit softer than when because he went in hard a few times and then changed track halfway through, and it's sort of like, no, you should have stayed on that track. You should have pinned his balls to the wall.
They're just mad because Biden needed 2 minutes to hear what he was supposed to say, and then another 5 minutes to say it, and Trump wouldn't let him do it.
Oh my gosh, what the hell? This is kind of a funny. I wonder. The biggest thing I'm curious about is Texas. What will happen to Texas? Because there's all this, all this illegal voting going on there now, and people say that it's, going blue. They say it's going to go blue in the year 2028. That's a prediction. I'm actually curious to see if it'll happen this election.
It's because of all the Californians moving there, and then all of a sudden you have voting fraud.
Yeah, but are the Californians moving there? Are they going to get there and go, oh yeah, no, we don't want we left California for a reason, and we don't want to create what we created? Or are they just too dumb and they're going to go, oh, we're going to leave California because it's a cesspit now. Oh, let's get all we're just going to keep voting for the same things because that's going to work.
Okay, so this is kind of weird. So people are being evicted. So this person is saying people are being evicted. People are hungry. People can't feed their families. Trump does not care. And this has to do with, so just barely recently, apparently what happening, he said they're not even going to do any stimulus package, and everybody's kind of pissed about that. And I get it. But once again,
he's not the reason.
But who are the people who are actually in favor of shutting stuff down? That's created most of this problem. They were down, and it's like if they believe for 1 second that the shutdowns have to do with actual cases and actual deaths, that is a lie. And these people, oh my gosh, you're literally saying vote blue to end this nightmare. The nightmare is being created by left-wing politicians. That is fact. For this idiot to sit there and say, "Oh, it's Trump's fault," it's like if Trump loses and Biden wins, guess what, you fucking idiot, Blake? Guess what? Guess what'll happen? More people will be evicted, and more people will be hungry, and more people will commit suicide, you stupid fucking idiot.
And Biden's entire family, just like during the Obama administration, will get even more rich. That's the only thing they accomplished during that time. They all became millionaires over foreign policy. And media knows all about that Hunter Biden investigation and everything. And just like with the Nobel Peace Prize nominations, they just don't talk about it. Well, we can't say anything, it's ridiculous.
These people are just seeing the surface of all the things that Trump does, and they don't realize that he's been playing 4D chess with them the whole time, and they've been playing checkers. So they don't get it. That the chances are, if Trump is saying that he doesn't want to do any stimulus packages until after the election, the chances are that because it's his second term, he doesn't have to worry about getting reelected. So he's going to basically come in and go, right, screw this backwards and forwards business. You want to add all these extra things in. We can't let you. Yes, no, you won't support anything. I'm just going to go in and throw my weight around as president and get things done. And I've got a plan that's going to fix everything. We just have to wait until
get reelected first. Absolutely.
That Blake guy, he obviously doesn't have the correct information. He's probably only watches CNN. And so what I'm going to say is, They tried to pass a stimulus, and this isn't something Trump could just put through. This is something that has to be put through Senate and everything. And it got to him, and it didn't have any stimulus money in it. It was only relief for big businesses and healthcare and stuff like that. And Trump said, we need more relief for the people.
See that,
and he sent it back. And they said the number one thing that's holding up these stimulus bills is Pelosi. Pelosi won't vote for any of this without it including a huge chunk of money for hospitals that was already given a huge chunk of money. And Trump declined it and said, we need more help from the people. Well, it's got to the point where it's so much of it's been held up. Trump's just like, got to focus on other things. Forget it.
Okay, dude,
that's the difference between politics and business. They're doing politics, he's doing business.
Yeah.
So he's getting blamed for not putting it through, but if he would have put it through, it wouldn't have had any relief for no stimulus going to any people, and then he would have got blamed for that too.
Right. So so he can't win. They're just literally there. So and this is what's trending. This is what's trending right here.
Well, it's Twitter. They're cesspool.
Yeah, it's awful.
You hate Trump, you'll be trending in a week. So
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, anything you say could just go to trending immediately, and that's where these Jack Dorsey, these douchebags, like it's like they love to just feed the lies.
And 80% of Twitter's people on here, I told you, have been found out to just be fake bots, and not 80%, more like 60%. But then the rest of the people on here are mostly Democrats. So any of this bullshit on here, it's not taking people that are going to vote Trump and then all of a sudden like, I don't like that, I'm going to vote Biden now. Most of the people you see on Twitter are going to vote Biden. They already had their minds up long ago. None of this is going to influence them or change their minds. They were already in the Democratic fan base. So Twitter, and because of that, Twitter isn't necessarily influencing people to change their vote. It's more like all the Democrats meet here and they just bitch and hate and complain, and it's just one big cesspool.
It really is, isn't it? It's really sad. It's. I mean, it'd be interesting. I wish people would listen to the truth, but they never do. It's like,
everything you're going to press in that other button other than Biden. So it looks like their choice is Biden or Biden.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. That's what it really is. That's what I should have said with my tweet when I retweeted that. I should have said Biden.
Sorry.
Right?
One of the biggest things we need in this country is term limits. People like Pelosi can't be in there for 60 years and constantly be screwing up important things like these stimulus bills and everything like that. And Trump has said, if I get reelected, I'm going to give it 150% effort to implement term limits, because there's people in government that shouldn't have allowed to be made a career out of it. It's not what our founding fathers wanted, and it shouldn't be allowed. You got people like Pelosi that they've been for so long, they've gone corrupted. And it's great. Trump's the first president that I've actually heard and say, like, I'm going to, my second term plan is term limits. And, people might have said it before and then never tried. I could see him giving it his 100. You're typing it right on. 100% effort. No, it's live trolling right here on YouTube. Let's go. Live trolling. Let's wait for an instant reply.
Well, sorry everybody. No, I couldn't help it. It's like they're just like spewing. It's like, how could we even trust him? So this whole thing, this whole tweet is literally, what do they say? They're saying Biden says, I'll work with Democrats and Republicans. I'll work as hard for those who don't support me as the. Yeah, right. You're such a.
Right. Why doesn't he work? We work with both sides. Why doesn't he do that now?
Such a liar.
They haven't worked with him from day one. They're not doing it now, and.
He doesn't know how to work.
Like at the debate when he was asked if he's called any of these Democratic governors to offer his support, and he changed the subject. He's not working any of the problems now. If you have such a great problem about these cities, then why aren't you calling these governors and working out your problem? You're all talk and no action, just like Obama. You can say you're going to do this and say you're going to do that, and pay people to agree with you so you can put them on their commercials and then put a big print. Not paid actors. Yeah, bullshit. You can do all you want. But unless you actually do it, who freaking cares?
Yeah, it's one. It goes back to, once again, it's like you are you're only as good as your as what you do. It's like, forgive me for the Batman quote, but you know, what is it? I am. What does he say? It's not who I am underneath. It's what I do that defines me. And you've shown us, Biden, that you're at an absolute shill. You're like, as Chris was saying earlier, that he's a shell. He's a shell of a human being. And there's absolutely no way we could even trust anything he says.
Well, here's a religious example. You know, they say that people will know you're a man of God by how you act. You won't even have to tell people.
Right.
You know, people. You know, who you are is based off of what people see you do, your actions and everything. You could say you're a good person, but unless you go out and you're actually doing good things, that's just a title. You know, that's like saying, you know, I can fly, but unless you actually fly, you know, you get what I'm saying. It's just, you know, and a lot of these people, it's all publicity. They'll act goody-goody and make up crap on TV, and as soon as you turn off the camera, it's a completely different person.
And look at just this propaganda. They just love to lie about him. Let's see what this Trump is not American. You got to be kidding me.
I'm so. Norm. Who paid? Is this a Biden thing? Official Biden thing?
Yeah, this is. Yeah, it looks. It's.
I'm so irritated with the Bible thing they're making fun of. What is so funny about that? That place was looted by Antifa. The church was burned, and in opposition to that, he stood in front of there with a Bible and was like, "We can't let this happen." And they've been using it for the commercial sense. I don't see anything wrong with what he did there. I don't. Oh my word!
That's it. They don't. They're so disconnected from reality. They don't.
These are not reality. Serious doctors. Now all of a sudden,
they don't see how they like. A lot of the time, you get what's his name, Don Lemon, and that English guy as well with the glasses. They'll have these big long speeches about how horrible something Trump is, explain what he's doing, and if you just cut off the end part where they go, "Now isn't Trump horrible?" If they cut that part off the end of it, you'd be like, "That sounds very reasonable. That sounds like Trump has done something very good." And
I just need to say two things because my computer's about to die. So what I wanted to say is these doctors saved Trump. Now all of a sudden they're fake doctors. And second, you know, my computer's going to die soon, so I just want to thank everybody for stopping by. Subscribe to Down Darkness Gaming Academy. We're into politics, gaming, etc. And subscribe to these two patriots above me and below me. They're great people, great channels. Check them out. And go ahead and continue the video until my computer dies. But yeah, they're just like, oh, they're not serious doctors because they saved them.
Not serious doctors.
The president has been a phenomenal patient.
Or serious public servants. This is propaganda.
No, this is propaganda.
The same
the
lies
lady
used
that
by
has
despots
the
and dictators.
folder full of all the.
They just compared her to Hitler. They just compared her to Hitler.
What were you saying, Chris? Say it again, please.
I'm saying that, like, they're calling propaganda the woman who comes out with a folder that is almost bigger than she is, that is full of all the facts and evidence that proves that what we're looking at is propaganda, not that she comes out and debunks propaganda on a
constantly
daily basis, weekly basis. Every time she steps up to the podium, it's like, oh, he's going to destroy them this time. What's going to happen?
I can't believe this needs to have a meme. I can't believe they just compared what we're seeing right now to some of the worst dictators in the history of the planet. What the
same lie.
North Korea.
I can't help it. I'm sorry. This is freaking ridiculous.
And the people that's the problem is that they're playing to their base, and their base is like, just as Trump has said many times. Everybody said they're just low IQ. They're people who aren't very smart. They just let it. Okay.
You might not like the truth, but the truth hurts. The truth might hurt, but the truth's the truth.
That there isn't such a backlash, that people are saying that you're comparing the Trump administration in America to, like, right here, these guys that we've got up on the screen, comparing that, say, how many non-violent peace treaties did these guys broker? How many of those? I mean, we've got 3 at least under Trump's
Yeah.
belt, plus health reforms. Okay, I suppose like these guys did have socialist health
Yes,
reforms and stuff like that, and there are some health reforms into their health system that this guy brought in, that Trump brought in. But then that's kind of like saying that, well, like this guy was breathing air and Trump was breathing air, so therefore they're the same thing, obviously.
This is like comparing Barbie to Terminator.
It's like when they compare Trump leaving the hospital in the back of an SUV to a dictator in the limousine,
Right.
being driven around.
Well,
And
they
you
go
just
and
say, oh yes, evil dictators drive in cars, and Trump drives in cars. Case closed.
Yeah.
I mean, what more evidence do you need?
why don't they just start comparing senior citizen Trump supporters to the fat guy in North Korea? It's ridiculous. Why don't they people that eat tater tots instead of mashed potatoes? Oh, they're terrorists. They how dare they?
This is absolutely ridiculous. You're so right. They literally are saying, "Oh, he's in an SUV. Gaddafi's Libya. Look at the same shit." Like,
Yeah.
this is what dictators do: ride in SUVs.
You don't see any of this shit happening in Republican-controlled states. So, booyah! Freaking idiots! They.
I mean, like, who honestly believes this? That because like that any of the comparisons they can make to any of these dictators that are so flimsy and that like are things that not only do these dictators do, but every single person who lives in a driving around in an SUV or in a car of some description, something that I would assume that almost everyone who has ever driven a car has come close to or done or would do. So therefore, everybody is Gaddafi. Therefore, everybody in America, everybody in Australia and everybody in England, we're all Gaddafi because we all drive in cars.
Oh my gosh. It's literally low IQ. It's just these people are so idiotic. Oh my gosh.
There's a politician in Australia who I really wish I was there when he said it. My mum was there, and he basically he was selling off a public school to a housing people so that they could build a private housing estate on the property there where this school was built. And it was like you had city views, beautiful city views from this property, and you had beautiful ocean views from the property. So it was like they're going to make shitloads of money off this sale. And they basically everybody in the area, the place was packed. Like they had sold huge amounts of they've sold off huge amounts of the land surrounding the school to young families who were of age to send their kids to that school. And so everybody in the community had signed these thousands of what's it called, the petitions and they plopped them down on his desk and said, you have to stop this going ahead because like you're not going to get voted back into power because look what's going on. And he said, you people are stupid, you'll vote for me anyway. I really wish I had him on tape because that is what's going on here. That's what this video we're watching is. This video is them just in many different ways, again and again, just saying, you are so stupid, you'll vote for us anyway.
Yes. They literally, that's how they see their people, their own people, just absolutely stupid. Yep. Oh my gosh. Oh, jeez.
A lot of the representatives in these neighborhoods that are mostly African American, that's what they've been preaching about the upcoming election. They said they think we're stupid. They think that we'll vote for them no matter what. They think they will always have our vote, and they live and breathe and they they die on that belief. And a lot of them are saying, like that lady that's running in Baltimore, she said, enough is enough. She said they haven't did anything for us. They just automatically assume we'll vote for him. It's kind of what he just said, and it's
And anytime I try to engage in a conversation with someone who's like Orange Man, bad Orange Man, I try to get him off that. It's like, let's like have a real conversation about, and it's that they literally are so brainwashed that they just they have no idea what they're talking about.
The Democrats know they can create problems, blame it on Trump, and their followers will always believe it was Trump's fault. They did it with the virus. They're doing it with the riots. And the only people falling for it are the people that been falling for it for years. It's ridiculous.
Their chain of logic runs backwards. Their chain of logic doesn't go, Trump has said this, Trump has done this, therefore Trump is bad and wrong. It starts with Trump is bad and wrong, therefore he must have said this, therefore he must have done that, therefore this is what he must have meant. And then when you go through and you break down each one of those false assumptions they've made because of their conclusion, they then just revert to the conclusion and then go, well, I must be right about something. Trump must have done some of these things because, look, this is the conclusion.
It's the same ideology Hitler used to brainwash an entire country.
Yeah.
The crazy beliefs that the Nazis had, and he was able to. He wasn't. He didn't take over his country by force and force this upon people. A majority of the people in Germany supported those beliefs. You see old videos of kids giving that sign and everything. Like he brainwashed an entire country, and many of them after the war even said, like, we don't know what came upon us. Well, he had entire facilities ready if he wanted to start sending people through these like teaching facilities bent on it, brainwashing people into their beliefs before they would go out into society. And, if he could brainwash an entire country, it can happen anywhere. And that's why social media and the media and everything is such a powerful weapon. They can cause violence where it wasn't necessary, and they aren't held accountable. None of them are held accountable for the problems they cause. And, it's one big brainwashing where if people have something forced down their throats for long enough, they start to believe in it.
So this is actually a funny tweet here. This is look at this crazy person. Republicans are a death cult, Cult 45. When the Republicans send us their presidents, they're not sending their best. Some are rapists, some are racists, some, I guess, will contaminate you with COVID. Ugh. Like, and then this is a great response here. And some presidents are all three. Oh, like Obama and his drone strikes.
Yeah, I was like, now do the you did the Republicans, now do the Democrats.
Right. Yeah. You want to talk about, yeah.
You want to talk about pedophiles and rapists and war crimes and let's talk about what the Democrats have done.
I just want to point out what my dad said the one time because it was perfect. Some of the best presidents were Republican. Ulysses S. Grant, Abraham Lincoln. Now you got President Trump, and I'm sure if George Washington, if they had two sides back then, he probably would have been Republican. Roosevelt, Republican, and here's how my dad put it: the one good Democratic president we've ever had, JFK, and he was assassinated by his own party.
Yep.
Dude, that's so it's on the money, man. So I was gonna read this so this is actually great. So I lost. Oh yeah, this right here. And she's like, Ashley explains it all, says death cults are typically more chill than this group. It's like these people while Antifa burns down our whole cities are being burned down, and entire law and order is being compromised for the first time in decades in this country and in the world. Law and order is being compromised and questioned. And she dares say, "Oh, these people are death cults are typically more chill than this group." Oh, okay, so you'd rather so
get much more chill than sitting at home and waiting for them doesn't get much more chill than that compared to burning down an entire city. Who's chilled? Who's chilled? The one who's burning down the entire city, or the one who's sitting at home with the AK waiting for you to come and burn down his city?
That's what's scary. You got a guy like Biden that calls crap like this peaceful protesting, and you want a guy like that running the country where he considers that peaceful protesting? Yeah, World War II was peaceful too.
He won't be running the country. He will either be like a total skin suit puppet, or he will abdicate. I don't think they would he's not going to run anything.
Yeah, Kamala Harris has a history of not liking police and defunding police, so the police will probably never get their jobs back, or they'll lose their jobs if he wins. So it's probably why almost every single one of them voted or endorsed Trump. First time in like history, almost every police station, I think everyone actually, every union in the country endorsed Trump.
So apparently, I think it was Lemon who said that that's actually like a conspiracy, that they're all actually evil Trump supporters. They're from proving that the cops are evil.
Well, it's just like the poor. It's just like the poor Supreme Court pick. You know, she's a nice lady and everything, and as soon as he announces her as a nomination, they just start giving her hell, and it's like, welcome to the club.
But it's a powerful career woman who also has a family and gets to one of the highest positions in the country. They're supposed to be supporting powerful women and all that, but God forbid there be a powerful woman with a different opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I usually see Vice as being complete liars, but hats off to them for this moment. Check this out. This is Vice. They usually lie their asses off, but
yeah, I was mad when this shithole took over history too. But
the
whatever,
community knew I didn't do it.
Just arrested and then charged.
Arrested and charged. That's it. She showed up at the two most pivotal times in this first trial, and me being convicted and me being sentenced. She wanted to be present for a celebration of a conviction.
What a stupid bitch.
Kamala Harris wrote that in her book, The Truth We Hold. Does that sound consistent with the kind of with the brand of justice that you saw administered by offices that she was running?
It definitely sounds like Kamala Harris right now as a senator. But at the time of her being the head district attorney of San Francisco, that is almost polar opposite of what I felt and what our community felt in San Francisco.
Wow. It's so stupid.
It's a good example. It's just like that district attorney that arrested those two people that were defending their homes in St. Louis. Like, wasn't justified. Absolutely, they didn't do anything wrong, and they were going to be put in jail until a couple of good, politicians got in the way and said, no, this is ridiculous. But that's what you get in places where there's no law, no order. You got corrupt district attorneys, and you got people like Kamala Harris that doesn't like the police.
I like how you call her Camellia, like a chameleon.
Chameleon, yeah.
She changes color. She changes to the, she with the winds of whatever. She just, and she's obvious. She's been exposed for that, her lies and all these stupid things.
Here's the type of law and order the Democrats want. I'm going to take it straight out of the Dark Knight Rises movie. Okay, they want Harris sitting on the chair being judge, jury, and executioner. People come in, they're automatically labeled guilty, and then they make them walk across the frozen lake just to fall to their death. That's the kind of law and order they want.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They want a trial by public opinion.
Yeah. It's back like in the Gladiators, where if they like, should we finish the job or not finish the job, and everybody starts yelling in the stadium, kill him, and then he gives a thumbs up, and they release the lions. That's kind of judge, jury, and executioner type law and order.
You could imagine that. You could imagine like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden sitting on these big thrones and in a courtroom, and somebody gets brought in, and hang on, what's going on? There's a noise in the background. Sounds like somebody's drilling upstairs. Oh. That's great. So they've got they bring in Assange or someone like that in shackles, and everybody's throwing lettuces at him and things like that from the crowd, and Kamala Harris Joe Biden's asleep and Camilla gives him a elbow in the ribs. He stands up and she whispers to him, and he stands before the crowd. The crowd hushes. He raises his fist out in front of him. The thumb goes up and then he turns it upside down. His thumb's down, and like the crowd ah! As we get to have a public execution.
Yeah, it's almost like you can be sentenced to death just because people want some entertainment.
Yeah.
It's
somebody throws a noose over his neck and the crowd get to drag him out into the street and string him up.
Speaking of propaganda,
Biden America.
Back before there was TV and entertainment, public executions used to be the only entertainment people would get to enjoy on the weekends. They would bring their kids. They would make popcorn.
Well, then now that the sports industry has been destroyed by COVID, we can bring back the execution industry.
California's building a gladiator arena as we speak.
And it's all virtual gladiator.
Of the COVID crisis is just one example of his negligence.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When the first lady writes a book about how she's so oppressed for being black, anything else she has to say is totally irrelevant, and she can be just be looked at as some stupid dude that can just shut his mouth.
Yep, because she is a dude that doesn't want to shut his mouth. A
black woman who has
is she gonna say?
The overwhelming majority of people of color in this nation, done everything in my power to live a life of dignity.
She's being that's a racist comment. She's being racist.
Service and honesty.
Her and her family so
all black people pure and honest.
Pure and angels, and all white people are evil. Once again, it's the all white people, all white men are evil.
So her entire family became millionaires during the presidency, but they were so oppressed.
Yep.
And here's the thing: that people of that descent, they'll go and riot and loot and burn stuff in the cities, and it's called peaceful protesting. They're patriots, but if a Caucasian white guy, gun owning, law-abiding citizens, never been arrested, goes and stands in front of a Capitol building with a gun, peaceful protesting, and protests to whatever they're voting on inside in states where it's allowed, they're called tyrants, Trump supporters, you get what I'm saying.
They literally that's, and I've said this many times, but I'll say it one more time. And they are obsessed with how they appear, not with reality. It's literally how they appear to other people. And so there's just the idiotic people who listen to what she's saying and say, yeah, white people are evil and they want to appear so much better, and that's what they do. They appear to be cool instead of seeing what's actual reality. They change what's actual reality.
You should be judged by what you do, not by what you say. And people today get judged a certain way just because they're a Trump supporter, even though they've never committed any crimes. And people that are out burning stuff are getting called patriots. So,
yep. Let's listen to what else she stupid lies.
Any of my fellow Americans is more afraid of me than the chaos we are living through right now.
Yeah, we are afraid of it because you're a lying, conniving fool.
But she's implying that it's because she's black that people are going to be more afraid of her because she's black than the chaos right now. It's like, no. Like, you were the first lady and your black husband was the frigging president. The only reason people are going to be afraid of you is because you're a frigging social Marxist, not because you're black.
I just want to point this out, and I don't mean it in any racist way, that she acts like because of her descent, she's so oppressed and everything.
Yep.
You know what? She would have had a harder time being a first lady of a president in Africa than she would have in the United States. They have no idea how well they have it here.
Yep.
Like, from the millions they're making in sports to the opportunities they have, they're just willing to put in some hard work and effort. They have no idea how they have it here. She would have had a lot of the positions that people of African American descent are in, like top positions in this country. would not be possible in other countries. Like it irritates me. You know,
So a lot of the time they get that they would not even come close to being able to get those positions in other countries, not only because of the racism in those countries, but because of the level of accomplishment and excellence and intelligence that is required for those positions, that these people aren't up to par. They literally get in with to universities and stuff with lesser grades because of the color of their skin, so that they just have a higher number of black people or minority people at their university or in their business or on their TV show or in their movie.
A lot of people don't realize this. These colleges have quotas. They actually have to let so many people of certain races in. And not only that, there's scholarships that only certain races are allowed to have. But the point I'm making is England colonialism really affected Africa in the 1700s, and it still hasn't recovered. What I'm getting to is they, like I said, they have no idea how well they have it here. They would have trouble in other countries, even countries with people of their own descent. They would have problems and trouble and hassle getting into the positions that they can get into here just by a little hard work and determination.
Right,
And
but according to them, America is racist.
you
That's
try
the
and talk to
sad
people
part.
about this, and you're immediately called a racist. Like people are, if they were seeing this, are like, "Oh, he's a racist," you know. No, it's the facts. It's the facts. You know, if you don't like it here, then leave and see, and then you'll quickly realize how well you had it here.
Yeah, I wish they would, because then they would just, oh my god, like for a second. I mean, they but they're just,
they were threatening.
They're just chicken. They're chicken of it all. They won't, you know. They just.
It irritates me so much when I live on a week by week paycheck, and you got people like Michelle or these NBA stars that are protesting because they're so oppressed, but yet when they get their paycheck at the end of the week, it has $1 million on it. It's like, oh my word.
And it's like, and they're oppressed because of their skin color, right? That's what they want to keep lying to people about it. And it's like you got all these people, all these rich liberals who live in suburbs who are just like, oh, you're right, we're just so evil. White people are so evil, and it's
but
just
then you got a lot of African American people and places like Baltimore and stuff that aren't put on TV. Like they actually probably are in financial problems because of lack of local leadership and everything, and they don't get put on TV. You know, no one gets to see who's actually struggling. And you talk to a lot of those people, like that lady's doing in Baltimore, and they're all voting for Trump. They're not crying that they're oppressed. They're not asking for this and that. You know, they're actually having a hard time, and they're never asked their opinion. They're never given a hard time. And on top of that, they can see who's going to help them, who's not going to help them. You know, you can't. It makes me laugh that you see millionaires going on there complaining about how bad they have it. It's like, give me a break.
And they want everybody. Someone said it the other day. I think it was Dinesh D'Souza that said it's just they tap into what are weak points. The weak points is race. Everybody's scared of appearing racist, and so that's a weak point. So what do? They tap into that so that everybody feels guilty all of a sudden.
And then they
race baiting is really hot right now.
They put it in movies. They put it in commercials. They just start drilling it down your face. They're trying to build that ideology through cultural brainwashing.
And it's
you keep pausing it on priceless pictures.
Yeah, this is perfect. That look is like they're like, I'm the Democrat leftist bitch, and I'm telling you what you need to think and believe, and I'm telling you that because you're black, you're voting for Biden.
And she says right here,
you know what Biden accidentally told the media? Someone recently asked Biden about, they were joking around about him not leaving his basement, and he said, and this, you know, the media doesn't want people to hear this. I found it on Parler, I believe, but it was a clip from his event. He said, "Oh yeah, I was able to stay in my basement for long enough because I had a black woman that knew how to stock the shelves." How's he get away with this shit?
How does he get away with saying that?
And he has a history of being like this and making comments like this, but yet Trump's the racist.
And it's just ridiculous.
If Trump had said that, it would have been front page news, and you would have all over Twitter. Every time you mention anything positive about Trump, someone would have linked to the video of him saying that. Guarantee.
But
And
but yet this video shared anywhere but Parler, it would probably be taken down, even though it's an actual clip from one of his events.
Made up story about Trump calling military people stupid. A made up story about that goes viral. Biden actually saying it to them
doesn't get anywhere.
It's a non-thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't get airtime.
And it just goes to show how much I would love to see. And that just does bring us back to what we were saying before about what you said, Kyle, about Trump just like buying YouTube. It would be, I would just love for him to try to somehow do it through like some other organization, and like a private organization that's not publicly known that he owns. Somehow he purchases Twitter and YouTube, and then is able just like to overturn everything.
He's been secretly building his own platform. He's been having third-party people secretly build what he's going to call TrumpTube, and it's going to come out and then it'll take off right after.
I would be amazed if that actually happened. And he would allow people to have free speech, and that's the beauty of it. Is he would allow left-wing people on there to talk, and that's the beauty about it. Is that and everybody, there's so many people who just be like, no, Orange Man bad. No, Trump dude. But it's like when it actually, he would just be like, oh, you know what? You can actually say that. It's okay for you to say that on my Trump tube. It's okay for you to say that. Oh my gosh! Let's finish this and see what the hell other lies she has.
It hurts us all.
So, and she says through the chaos that we're living that your party created
hurts us all.
It is a heaviness that sits on our hearts.
The heaviness that sits on your hearts that you create, that heaviness that you lie to people about, that you try to create in people.
If she has a heaviness on her. If she has a heaviness on her heart, it could be something to do with maybe an allergic reaction to the hormones that she's been taking to maintain her transition.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Hey guys, if you can hear me, I'm getting a lot of static, so I'm going to head out here. Take care, man.
Okay. Have a good one, Kyle. Hail, Kyle.
Appeal for some empathy here.
No worries, man.
We'll get out of here in a second, but
I want everyone who is still undecided to think about all those folks like me and my ancestors.
Once again, they don't want to face up to the reality of what they've chosen to do now. They want to play upon the guilt of ancestors.
Yeah.
The moms and dads who work their
so they don't want to face the things that happen today. They want you to feel guilty for things that happened in the past that our ancestors did.
Yeah, you feel guilty for what your ancestors did, but we can't feel guilty for what we're doing right now.
Right.
Fingers to the bone to raise their kids right. The teenagers who wear hoodies while working hard to get their diplomas.
Oh my gosh.
What is teenagers wearing hoodies? That just sounds like quickly we need to get the young audience. How do we get the young audience? Teenagers, say teenagers. What do teenagers do that we can talk about? They wear hoodies. Yes, we'll put that in. Teenagers with their hoodies. Isn't that what kids do these days?
I get. Oh my god. Unbearable lies.
And fought and died and toiled as slaves and soldiers and laborers to help build this country. Put yourselves in our shoes.
Oh gosh, no thanks. I don't want to put myself in the shoes of a liar.
For just a moment. Imagine how it feels to wake up every day and do your very best to uphold the values that this country claims to hold dear.
Those values that you've pissed out the window.
You pissed all over and you hate and you want to destroy and have said that are evil and bad.
Yes, those values that we hold so dear that you have entirely decided it has become the enemy.
Decency, only to have those efforts met by scorn, not just by your fellow citizens, but by a sitting president.
Speaking of propaganda,
that's what you guys were doing. He's pausing in the best places.
But by a sitting president.
Yes, your husband.
Your hearts.
And he's gone, so it's okay. I mean, he still hangs around and he pretends like he's still president, but like he's been like unemployed for a while now.
But he's still he's still a millionaire, right? Isn't he still?
Yeah.
He's still a millionaire and still paid millions for speeches to go lie to people all the time.
I'm sure there's a horrible racist joke I can make about Obama being just another unemployed black man now.
Oh no, let's not go there.
I didn't make that joke. I just said it could be made.
Yeah.
And then vote for Joe Biden like.
Yeah, our lives depend on it. Our lives depend on to get away from you. And with that, we're just going to end the podcast. But anyway, thanks. Go ahead.
Do you want to just drop the video that I've got there shared?
Yeah, please. Yes.
On that. Of course. All right. This is that little one that I put together.
Yeah.
That I showed you earlier. Yeah. But just before we jump into it, I just wanted to say that when you're watching those things by the Democrats, they're very much sort of like, you're stupid, derpa, 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 you're stupid. When you see the ones that Trump does, they're more along the lines of like apple pie, cornball, American, patriotic. Like you reminds you of the comic books where you have like Superman on the front cover with their chest out and like you're looking up into the sky and holding an American flag.
Right.
Where it's like, yeah, which one's better? Derpa, 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 you're dumb, or like you're Superman holding an American flag.
Yeah. They're so shallow. It's so shallow. Every single like that entire her entire manifesto or whatever you want to call whatever she said there, that vote like your life depends on it. Who are the ones being threatened at their own homes? If you want to talk about life depending on something, the people that are being threatened in their own homes are by Antifa. Antifa is going to people's houses in suburbs and getting them to pulling them out of their houses, getting them out. Get out, mother effer, get out. This is real stuff that's happening.
When was the last time the KKK rocked up at the house of some prominent black or any black man, dragged them out of their house and strung them up on a rope? When was the last time that happened? Like 50 years ago? I'm sure that's like compared to the people who are having their lives destroyed on a regular basis by the left.
Yeah, they're just absolutely ridiculous idiots. Like, it's the shallow left. It's the shallow, low IQ left.
Yeah. So I'll jump into this video now.
Yeah, let's watch. I love this. This is so good.
I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white Nazis, because they should be condemned totally. Because they should be condemned totally. Because they should be condemned totally. 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 Condemned, because they should be condemned totally.
And you made that, right, Chris?
I made that, yeah. I just saw the thing where he kept saying that, like, there's that clip, and like I downloaded it, and I thought, like, you just need to repeat that again and again and again, because like he has to himself say it again and again and again.
Yep. It's because they have ad after ad saying that he's a white supremacist, and they kept saying it for years and years after it. It's like, and that's why
you still do it today. They still say that he said it,
and you got random people who I talk to all the time who's never heard him speak, who think that he's a white supremacist. Like, they never heard him speak, and they think that he's a white supremacist. Like,
because but Charlottesville was like the KKK, and he said they were fine people. He said it. I mean, everybody knows it. They say, like, they play the words, him saying some fine people. They play those words again and again. Him saying some fine people, some fine people, some fine people. They play it again and again, and they go, look, he said it. He said it. See?
Such fucking liars.
So doesn't it make sense that we play totally condemned, totally condemned, totally condemned? If they're going to play some fine people, some fine people, some fine people, we're going to play totally condemned, totally condemned, totally condemned.
Oh my gosh. Tell everybody where they can find you, Chris, at TWTG content.
Yeah, we've got the channel TWTG content. We have Thursday nights at about 9ish. We have a game show on one week, and then the next week we have a Let's Watch where we're going at the moment through Legion, which is mind-shattering weird stuff. It's great fun. And then some Let's Plays in between, and on the Twitter at God's Teapot. And that's me.
With some of the greatest tweets ever, dude. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Hope you had fun with this. This is Embrace the Truth. My name is Ben. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.